Okay, so I'm going to attempt to try this and see if this roundabout weird way works for you guys. So, apparently Facebook is going through another big set of series of changes, and so I'm going to attempt to see if this will kind of work to share it from my personal page through my business page. So just bear with me. Let me make sure I can see things happening there. It looks like it's going to work. So I apologize for the fact that I put test and that I'm sharing. So until I figure this out, we're going to go ahead and go live. So I hope you guys are able to see this, and we'll just go with that. So we're going to be making a Easter wreath using this sign from Personalize It by Pam. So she just created this one and I absolutely loved it. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get rid of the glare. There we go for you. So if you like this sign, it is a 10-inch round from Personalize It by Pam. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to try to move the ball forward as quickly as possible. Technology is just not my friend today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using a 14-inch Dollar Tree Wreath frame, and we are going to be color coordinating this using a lavender, a blue, and pink, because that's our color palette for today. So I'm only going to demo how to do this on one section, wiring our pipe cleaners. So this is going to go for the entire duration all the way around. So we are going to, in each of the 6 sections, they're divided by welds. We're going to take one pipe cleaner. We're going to use the welds as our guides to try to find a middle spot to go ahead and wire these two together right in the center. Then we're going to go ahead and take our pipe cleaner and we're going to use this and our weld mark and kind of find a middle point and wire together the two outside sections like this. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So it will give us a total of 3 pipe cleaners in each section. I'm only going to do the first one for you because you don't need to see me do this again. I do have a YouTube tutorial if you want to see how to do this in its entirety, how to just wire together a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame using pipe cleaners. But for the most part, I think you can figure this out. You would just repeat the pattern in the other 5. It will give you a grand total of 6 on the inside, 12 to the outside, for a total altogether of 18 pipe cleaners. And we're going to use an iridescent, let's see if I can get to comments so that I can read these. I'm hoping that I am able to do this. We're going to use this iridescent white deco mesh because I felt like I really wanted to bring the colors, the pastel colors in, but I didn't want to like just pick one over the other. So I thought I would do a neutral base and then introduce the colors. So I'm going to, we're going to do ruffle technique. I have 18 pieces of this iridescent. It's kind of like a rainbow look when it hits the sun. You're going to just pick an imaginary line right up the center. We're going to go ahead and do this just like so. Okay, once we have this done, we're going to take the finished edge. We're going to place the finished edge to the inside. I'm going to try to make sure that it's about centered. You want to make sure that these are going to go on fairly tight because we're going to be adding ribbon, and we're also going to be adding additional deco mesh to this. So there is our first one. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 more pieces to our outside here. Same exact way. We are going to imaginary line right up the center, right? We're going to pull our deco mesh toward us in nice little pleated pattern like so. We're going to go ahead and add that. right to our other pipe cleaner, just like so. And you can tell that even though this has an iridescent foil, it is not a great coverage on the mesh part of this. So you might have to kind of finagle some of your mesh here and try to get it to, you know, cover a little bit more. But when we incorporate the other colors, you'll see it's going to provide a really good coverage. So there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and get this other piece started for our light blue section. And we are going to dive right in here, just like so. I wish I could stay ahead of all of Facebook's changes. It's just, it's going to keep me young. I don't know. It's just, it is a challenge. Let's just put it that way. So, there you have it. There's one section. We've done one in the inside, two to the outside. We're going to go ahead and carry this theme through all the way around, so you guys don't have to watch me do this all the way around. We are just going to go voila, and it is all done. I'm just going to remove the 3 pieces I put in, and we're going to go ahead and reuse those extra 3 pieces. And I'm going to add them back in over here. So this is what it looks like when you carry that all the way through, all the way around. And I'm kind of glad that I'm getting rid of this mesh because it's not my favorite. Hi Colleen, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for those of you that are kind of mapping your way back over. I apologize. When things don't work in the technology world and hubby's working and you're home all by yourself, it's so much easier just to want to throw in the towel and say, you know what, we'll just pick this up again tomorrow. But I am a pretty persistent person that I will, it's like a really good detective, right? You just want to stick with it until you figure it out. We're back in a weird way, in a roundabout way. It's like I had to go live on my personal page and then just share it to my business page. So I'm hoping that whatever Facebook is doing, there's nobody to talk to. You can't just call Facebook tech support and go, hey, can you tell me what's happening? So we figure it out. But there you go. This is what it looks like when it's complete. When I finished this, I still was not thrilled with the overall look. And this is where having, I'm trying to think, there is a value mesh, then there's a step between value mesh and wide foil mesh before it goes to premium mesh. I prefer to just kind of skip the middle guy. I prefer to skip the beginning guy too, but a lot of us still have this mesh in inventory. So I'm going to show you how you can utilize it. And it's a great quality mesh. It's just, it's not providing the look that I want. Let's go with that. So what I've decided to do is I have a lot of leftover mesh. You guys might as well, depending upon your methods. I'm pulling out those colors of the blue, purple, and pink, and we're going to do curls. And we're going to add curls to each one of those 18 sections that we put together. Now, the easiest way to do it is just to grab your Bodabra. You're going to fold it, you're going to roll it, and continue to roll this all the way up, and you're going to have a small little curl. And I use my Bodabra just to hold that because I need to get all 3 colors in there so that I can put them together. So with wood burning tool, and then we're going to roll through. Can you guys do me a favor and just really quickly either give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, or just say hi really quick so I can see that the comments are working this way. So I'm going to do a set of 3 just like this. I will grab my zip tie. I'm using 6-inch white zip ties. And I'm going to pick up this bundle just like so. I am going to zip tie the bundle together so they don't come apart, just in case. You could use mini rubber bands. You could use pipe cleaners. It's whatever you would like. So here's a bundle. I have my zip tie facing up. I'm going to open a section on my wreath. I'm going to place that bundle inside. And this time you really want to get these tight because we need to be able to utilize this pipe cleaner still. Okay, and we're going to go through and we're going to add a bundle to every single one of these sections so that we're going to have a pretty thick and full wreath. Oop, I apologize. Let me make sure we get the camera focused correctly on this. There we go. All right, I'm going to set this aside. And I just did it again. Every time I go to touch the screen, it minimizes what I'm doing. Okay, way over here. It's far, far away. All right, here we go. So one more time, making our curls. You're going to, these are cut to 10-inch pieces. You're going to fold up, just like so. Roll them. Tuck them in your bow dabra. That was interesting. I heard a really big boom. Usually, there's nobody here. I'll slide this one in, and then we'll grab our purple. We're going to fold, and fold, and fold, and fold, and fold. And then slide that right on the inside. Grab our 6-inch zip tie. Gonna kind of do a little crisscross action here. Take our zip tie and zip tie this together in a nice little bundle, just like so. Okay, there we have it. Now we are going to migrate on over and we're going to start putting these in. So I like making them in their nice little bundles so that you can kind of mix and match. You can put, like, if you don't want to put the blues together, you can kind of spin this around and kind of have it look like so. I have the rest of our bundles already pre-done, so I'm just going to go around and add these really quickly, just like so. We're going to be adding them to the inside and the outside. The goal is to get them in there as tight as possible, because we need the length on our pipe cleaner to be able to attach our ribbon and our embellishments. Hi Linda, welcome. Thank you for showing up and joining and chatting with me. I appreciate it. After a little technology snafu, I am trying to figure out there's always got to be a way, right? Right, Arlene? I love these colors on top of the white. I had done a wreath like this oh, right when I first started wreath making, and I believe I did it with beige, and then I popped all the different pastel colors on it, and I was looking at this one going, you know, that would look really pretty if we did something similar. So you can kind of start to see the colors are taking shape, and it's actually bringing some life, some depth into this wreath. So just a quick twist on our pipe cleaners, because these are already secured into a zip tie. We don't have to like really get them in there. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, you could opt to not do them on the inside 6, but I'm going to anyway. This would make for a nice birthday wreath too, or a baby shower wreath. The colors definitely make it look that way. Here we go. We'll add another one in here. It'll also make the process go quicker. And it's also a good way to use up different colors of deco mesh that you might have on rolls. So we're always trying to get our bundles down into that center as tight as possible. Got one more to the outside here, and then we have our inside 6 to work on. Okay. So always make sure we have our little bundles gathered. I'm going to set this to the side. Now I'm going to go through and put my 6 on the inside. And then I am going to remove my pipe cleaners on the inside once I get these bundles inside, because I don't need the inside pipe cleaners any longer. And it just started to rain. Daryl, yes, I did ruffles on the base. Those are 20-inch pieces cut with a wood burning tool. 1 in every single one of the 18 pipe cleaners. And then I came along and did curl bundles. They are 10-inch pieces of 10-inch deco mesh, 18 pieces of every color. So for those of you that are counting colors, we have 1 roll of white that we will use completely, 1 roll of pink, 1 roll of the lavender, and then 1 roll of the blue, but we are not using full rolls. And then I'm just removing okay, there's 1. So I just give them a couple extra twists just to make sure there's no way they can come out, and make sure that we have a lot of those little tubes. Definitely adds volume and texture to this so that it's not flat and one-dimensional in any way. There's a couple different ways you could choose to decorate this. You could technically come in and opt to go no bow and just use some 2.5-inch ribbon on this to kind of go around the sign and highlight the sign. We are going to be adding some ribbon to this as well, but it's just going to focus primarily to the outside 12. And this is nice because we're going with a smaller sign, so that'll fit nestled in there really nicely. Okay, this is our last one for our bundle. So we're going to drop this right inside and make sure that's in there nice and snug. Give it a couple twists, cut that off, and then just tuck the end back down. And then what I like to do is I like to grab the centers of our tubes and kind of pick those up so it's full all the way around. So this is very high volume type of wreath. In no way, shape, or form is this a pretty flat wreath. It is full. So when we add our ribbon tails to this now, let me show you what we're doing. We are going to be adding this gorgeous Marshmallow Peep Bunny ribbon. It's a 2.5 inch with the fur edge, cut to 14-inch pieces. We're going to be alternating that with some jelly bean because our sign is all about cookies, cupcakes, candies, and everything associated with Easter. Again, these are both from Craft Outlet, both cut to 14-inch pieces. These are the 2.5 inch ribbon choices. So we're just going to take these, we're going to add these just to the outside edge. And then on the bunnies, we are going to pair that with a darker blue, kind of matches our blue from our curls. This is a blue with white stitching on top, also from Craft Outlet. These 1.5 inch pieces are cut to 19 inches, and then we're just going to pinch in about 2 inches from the top. This kind of gives you a little half bow because it's just going to have one loop. We're going to go ahead and twist those on. What you're going to do is once they are inside your pipe cleaner, you're going to right side one of your ribbons. We're going to twist our pipe cleaners off. Go ahead and cut that back. We're going to tuck that around the back part of our loop. We'll open our loop, open our tails, and then I like to place my ribbon tails in between the 2.5 inch so that it looks like so. And then we're going to do the same thing with our jelly bean ribbon. We're going to gather that together. We're going to go around to the other outside piece. Kind of tuck that one in, just like so. And then we're adding a pink and white gingham, 19-inch pieces, folded in half, 2 inches before you get to the end. You're going to pinch those together, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're adding half bows around the outside, then twist off your pipe cleaners, like so. Tuck those in the back, open up your loops, and then get your ribbons all finished off nice and pretty. So it's going to be very, very full on that particular type of look. And then that's the pattern that we're going for all the way around. So we're just going to alternate these as we take our time, not too much time, and add these in to those sections. Just like so. Pinch those in. It is a lot to put in to those pipe cleaners, but because we've got the ruffles, we've got the trio of curls, we have 2.5 inch ribbon, we also have 1.5 inch ribbon, but I think you'll like the end result once we finish. What do you guys think so far? just like so. And we just keep spinning it around. This would make a really nice full centerpiece, even if you plopped a really nice hurricane lamp in the center or a cake plate for Easter, and then added your Easter dessert or an Easter basket to the center. It'd make for an adorable centerpiece for an Easter party. I remember when I used to have those with my kids, when my kids were still small enough. Thank you, Sue. Okay, we're going to gather those up. This would be a really good technique to use a work frame wreath with, because you generally have a little bit more play in your, like you have more to work with your tinsel ties, because they're a little bit longer than, say, but I love this. And I love Marshmallow Peeps. Let's see, did I miss a question? I saw Steve answered one. So yes, I think I already answered that question, Steve, for Daryl. They are 20-inch pieces for the ruffles. And there's 18 of them. That uses up that full roll of white. So we'll go ahead and do this. You know how it is. Tech support people are all gone home before 5 o'clock anyway. So there was no tech support coming tonight. This was, I will find a way. And we did. I love these ribbons. It was so much easier after my youngest daughter came home. And we worked through getting ribbon out of plastic tubs for each season. And then what I did is I got some shelves from Walmart, like the plastic ones, because I knew the ribbon was not going to be supporting an awful lot of weight. And I just utilized, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 shelves. They go up to 72 inches, so it's a little, it's like 6 feet tall. And then I just pulled all the ribbon out for each of the seasons and put them all on the 5 shelves. So when I walk through there really quick, like today, putting together this design, I could easily see all my Easter or spring ribbon and then make a decision on which ones I wanted to use for this design, which was so much easier than grabbing a tub and going through the entire tub trying to find ribbon. Just okay, we're slowly getting there. If the little tubes or the curls are in the way, just move them. You know, you can either go over or you can go under. You can pull some of your tubes around if you feel like they're just not positioned where you want. Just kind of move those around so your ribbon lays where you want them to lay, which is right in between this one here. There we go. Now it's under and then over. Okay, back on track. We're going to also add some fun little speckled colored eggs to this. You could come in and add styrofoam scatters and fillers. you could add a bunch of cute embellishments. Since this is themed, if you're into fake bakes or you know how to do fake bakes or you have some, you could incorporate these into that design as well. I have a tendency of loving my fake bakes too much. I use them more as props for photos than putting in my wreaths. But this would be adorable with some fake baked cupcakes or little marshmallow peeps. And trying to get that one to lay flat. If you find that you don't have very much pipe cleaner left and you feel like you're coming up short, what you can do is you could reverse your pipe cleaner. Go ahead and, secure it with what you have available. And if you need an extra piece, you can go in. I've had that happen a couple times when I'm working on a work frame and it's not quite long enough and I need it to be just a touch longer. Okay. Grabbing our blue. I was gonna have all of this done except those initial 3 pieces, but I've had a couple of people say that they like going through the entire process rather than just, shortcut it and say, here's how you do one. Okay, we'll come back when this is all done. I guess that's what we can use the fast forward for. You can just fast forward through the parts we don't. Going up here, we have about 3 more ribbon pieces to add, and then we'll attach our sign. Have you guys started making Easter yet? There we go. There's that one. One more of each. Hi, Kelly. Okay, wrapping this around. I'm always going back with this gingham and having to refluff it because it's very thin. It's a lot more thinner, a lot more thin than the blue canvas. Okay, last one. Trying to get my ribbon to lay flat first. Right, Kelly? Yes, the base could definitely be used as a baby shower because it could go either way. It could be boy or girl. You weren't late. I was. I was having all kinds of connectivity issues, so I'm hoping when stuff like this happens, Facebook's doing something. They don't tell people what they're doing or what kind of issues they'll be having. All of a sudden, it's like it'll just correct itself, and then everything will be working. Carol, you said the video won't play. It should be. I've got it going on both sides for me. Try logging out of Facebook and then logging back in and see if that doesn't correct it. Okay, so we are good here. Our sign, like I said, is just going to be this 10-inch round from Personalize It by Pam. We're going to be adding this to the center of our wreath design. But before we do that, I would like to see if we can squeeze a bow in here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and attach our sign. I know we don't normally do that, but we've kind of just, let me look at where I'm going to kind of want this to sit, because we have a lot of interference here with a lot of tubes. So what I'm going to do is try to move some of the tubes out of the way, like so, and see, do I want to put a bow on this, or do we just want to embellish all the way around the outside, which we might just want to do. Let me look. Oop. I needed to get these inside 6 really quick. They're all kind of stuck in there. There we go. So just like so. Look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? Just like so. I'm trying to not push it in there like that. So adorable, but I think we still need a bow. So we're going to go ahead and put a bow on it. So I'm just going to take this and push this off to the side. And let's go ahead and make our bow. Should go fairly quick. Okay, we are going to be using our bow dabra. And we're going to pull out the ribbon we just had that we were using. And then I'm going to show you 2 more. These are all from Craft Outlet, by the way, except one. So we're also going to introduce this pink, white, and purple diagonal plaid. And then this blue, purple, and hot pink almost polka dots on white. This is from Burton & Burton. So I kind of like... Do I like this order? I think I like the dots on the end. I'm thinking I like it just like that. Let's try that and see how we get it to go. All right, so we're going to follow my bow recipe for this. We're going to start off by dovetail cutting the ends, which is just bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded edge down to the wired point, just like this for a dovetail. We are going to measure out 10 inches and gather in. And then we're going to twist and place that inside our bow dabra, just like so. Let me adjust the camera just a touch. Make sure that we are where we need to go. I think. Oop, hold on a second. There we go. Okay, we're going to flip up and over. We are going to measure out 5.5 inches, which means from the end, the middle of my bow dabra, straight out. I'm going to place that on the 10 line on my cutting mat. Pull this out until I've got 5.5 inches. Then we're going to do the same on the other side, making sure we have consistency on both ends. And then measure out 10 inches here. dovetail cut again, right to our wired edge, just like so. There's one down. And then we're going to go ahead and do our jelly bean ribbon. Same way, we're going to measure off 9.5 inches once we get our dovetail cut on here. And then we're going to measure out 5 inches for our loop length. Same thing, up and over. And then just always measure just to make sure we're right where we need to be. Up and over again. Measure right on the money, and then 9.5 inches. Dovetail our ends. Just like so. There's that one. Now we're going to do our gingham. Wow, that one just really spun way crazy out. There we go. We're going to measure out 9 inches. Drop that back in, up and over. We're going to get our 4.5 inches in for this one. We did 9 inches for the tail length, and we're doing 4.5 inches for our loop length. Nine inches. And dovetail that end. Okay, third one's down. Okay, we're going to take our canvas blue, do the same thing. Dovetail the edge. This time we're going to do 8.5 inches for our tail length. We're going to measure out 4.5 inches for our loop length, which is the exact same as what we had on the gingham. Just like so, up and over. Make sure they're the same. And let's get 8.5 inches out right here. Up and over. This one is just about done. There's not much left on here, but it'd be great. I'm trying to think, what do I keep my really small ribbon for? Sometimes just to do an angel. You know, sometimes you just need a enough of a ribbon to make an apron. So a lot of times I save the little scraps left over to make the apron, rather than just throw that away. This one here is going to be 8 inches with a 4-inch loop. So we will just double check. We're right at 4 inches. Same thing. Up and over, right at 4, and then right out at 8. And then we'll dovetail this one. These scissors are super sharp. I think these scissors could probably remove your fingers if you got them way too close. Last one is our polka dots, just because I think it's a little fun and whimsical adding those 3 colors in. And this one's going to be 7.5 inches. We're going to lay that in. We're going to do 3.5 inch loop lengths. So this one's a little smaller. Same thing, 3.5 inches. And right out to 7.5. And we'll dovetail this one. And then, there we go. All right, we are going to use our pink pipe cleaner. We're going to pick up this entire stack, compress it down. We're going to go ahead and loop that in. Hold this stack at the very bottom and then give it a twist. Okay, that puts that over. And our fluff board, which my husband was wonderful enough to sand down for me. We are just going to hook with the C-hook through our pipe cleaner here, just to get it to where it'll hold the ribbon in place, and then we're going to fluff. So we're separating the loop from the tail, okay? Just like so. Go back down to the other part of the stack, and we're going to do tail to the left, loop to the right, so that we've got loops directly opposite, tails directly opposite, and we're going to do that with every ribbon we bring down. So now we're going to go loop to the right, tail to the left, same thing, loop to the right, tail, or loop to the left, tail to the right, and then we're just going to keep bringing down the next ribbons and just follow that pattern all the way through, taking your time to do one and then the other. So just like so. And go back over here. And then we're following with our pink. And then our pink. And then here is our polka dots. It's kind of got a little bit hung up on the hook. And then here. So now I have all my tails here. All my loops are here. So to fluff, we're just going to grab the top two and lift. Okay. Grab the top two and lift. We're going to do the same to the next two. Just lift those up. Lift, and then the ones at the bottom. Sometimes it's difficult to get your fingers inside them. There we go. There's those two. And then we're going to maneuver these around and just kind of play with the look that you like. To put the curl back in your ribbon, just pretend that your fingers are scissors, and you're just going to run them through your fingers. And it'll put the loops back in, or the curl back in. That's why we love using wired ribbon. Just like so. And then here. And then there's our nice, beautiful spring bow. Super cute. Okay. We're going to take that off exactly the opposite way we put it on. And then we will add our sign and attach our bow. We will need our hole punch, which is a Beadsmith 1.5 millimeter hole punch, to put a hole in our sign so we can get that to stay in, even though right now it's nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to go ahead and add a hole on each side of our sign. This is a 1.5 millimeter beadsmith metal hole punch. And I'm just going to punch a hole on either side. I'm going to use 22 gauge floral wire to attach this to the back. I have this one going a little bit further because of all those curls, so I'm going to give it just a little bit of extra wire to make sure we don't have any problem getting it down to the bottom. And then I'm going to add my business card to the back. Even though Pam adds her sticker to the back for us so we know where we got the sign, I add my business card to the back so that the customer remembers who they purchased the wreath from. Just like so. Here comes the rain. Okay. Going right over. We just want to make sure we have equal ends over our wire, and I'm just twisting my wire right over the hole. Just like so. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. So sorry for my husband, he's driving home in this. I'm hoping the rain is not too bad for him. And we're going right over our hole. I do it about 5 times, and then it keeps the sign laying flat and not like a spinner. And then we're going to go ahead and just wire this right down into our wreath, right to our frame. It's pretty easy since we know, we can kind of see where the frame is, but where we've added our little trio of bundles. I'm trying to get my wire to go flat. It's curling. Okay, so I got one there. And one on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and pull my curlicues through like this. And I'm going to give it a push so I know about how deep I need it to be. And we'll do the same on the other side. Moving our curls out of the way. Attaching this all the way down to our frame. And I'm going to go ahead and push it down so I can get it to the depth I need, and then I will go back in and move the curls so we get them back out of the way, just like so. They like to tuck up underneath our sign. Here's our blue. It's way under here too. Nice curls all the way around. There we go. I've got all my ribbons, all my curls out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my bow right about here. So what I want to do, because my curls are going to elevate everything, I'm going to tuck the ones that are closest to the sign underneath, so I have a nice landing area for my bow, which is going to be right about here, just like so. I need to now go all the way through the bottom with a pipe cleaner, through all those layers of mesh. Okay. And then of course your pipe cleaner wants to bend rather than go flat. No bending, pipe cleaner. That's a lot of mesh to go through. Okay. Here we go. There's one. It's like my pipe cleaner keeps bending at the very tip. It doesn't want to go all the way through. And so every time it bends, it doesn't want to go through the mesh. And I just got it. Okay. So now what I want to do is make sure that my tails are going where I want my tails to be. And I don't want to compress my ribbon too much. Right there is perfect. And then now we will refluff out our ribbon so that we have a gorgeous bow. We have gorgeous ribbon tails, all winding through. Pull this more to the outside so we can actually read our sign. Again, just redo anything and anywhere you want things to lay. Just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? So let's add some fun little whimsical embellishments. I have some little curly cues that we're going to tuck in and add around this design. You can get these from Craft Outlet. They're like little wired glitter curly cues. So I am going to take these. Once I put a glue stick in, I'm going to take and glue these right into my design. So I'm going to add a little purple one right in here. And make sure we've got cute little curly cue right in here. Like so. We are going to add a yellow one and a green one. Yellow, green in each. Again, just pulling these out so we have some little color curly cues for fun. We're just going to tuck these in all the way around our design. You can stretch them out if you want to make them a little longer. You can bunch them up if you want them a little bit shorter. Just like so. Trying to get this one, there it goes, to lay the way I needed it to. We'll add a coral one, and then I think I have another green and a purple. So we're going to add these because these are all part of that color. So I'm adding these to the inside where we added our inside curly curl bundles. I'm adding these to the outside. I think I have these left over from my last year's Easter wreath that we did in our Wreath of the Month group. So we'll cut these down. Okay, we'll add another green. Let's put this one way up over here. I'm going to add this one just under my bow. So we have a little curly Q going out to the side. And our purple one we will add down in here. You could add candy, you could add colored eggs. I just chose to use the little curly cues just to kind of emphasize the direction of fanning out. And now we're going to add in some adorable little eggs. I'm going to take the purple one. I'm going to add the purple one to the inside, I believe, of our bow. Just the little speckled eggs. I'm going to just remove these off of the picks, and these are from Michael's. So we have some yellow, we have some pink, purple, and then little white balls. So I'm not going to use the white balls, but we will use some of these little egg colors, and I'm going to tuck these kind of down around the outside of the loops. See, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6, so we're going to go every other one just on the pink gingham only. And we're going to tuck these right underneath the loop. So they're just these little whimsical details just underneath that. So I'm just putting them on the gingham ribbon only. So we'll do purple, right up underneath our loop. We're adding a little speckled egg. It kind of looks like a jelly bean. Going around. Add another one here. We'll add our yellow. We have pink. And then we have a yellow one that's right underneath our bow. So we will make sure we add one to this as well. Right underneath our ribbon. And then we'll add our giant purple speckled one right to the inside of our bow. Just like so, and we are finished. So let me hold this up so you guys can see this without the glare. I'll also show it to you on the door so that you can see what this looks like. But there is our Easter egg right there. Not adorable. Trying to get this all situated for you guys. Okay, let me go ahead and pan you up. So, give me just 1 second. And I think you guys can see the door. So, here is our wreath. it is all ready for Easter. Let's zoom in so you guys can see the detail a little bit better because it's kind of far away from the camera. So give me a second, it'll zoom in here. There we go. So this is our final design for Easter. I have clients who are very into, you know, Easter and the whimsy that comes with Easter. So this is very much a traditional Easter wreath. It measures 26 inches wide. It is 6 inches deep. And like I said, it's just got a lot of different touches, a lot of different textures, a lot of deco mesh, a lot of materials went into that. This is available on my website for sale at couchcreationsandmore.com. So if you're interested, that's where you will find it. Other than that, I hope that we will be on time for Tuesday's Spring Floral Grapevine that I'm going to show you, which is at 10 Pacific, which is 12 Central and 1 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for showing up and encouraging me all the way through it. And I hope you guys all have an amazing evening. Bye for now, everyone.